Hi. Hi.
Oh, 7. There we go.
Yep. Should we do a check-in first?
Sure.
Yeah. I'm doing good. I'm happy that Thanksgiving's next week. But then that also means that like all the finals are due during dead week, it feels like for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm doing good.
That's good.
Yeah.
I just got my math test back. I thought I did really well. I did really bad. I got like 64%. I was like,
Who's your teacher?
him.
Oh.
And I've had her before, Kim Markworth, and I do really like her, like a lot. And I don't know. I haven't looked to see what I missed yet, but
Yeah.
I was pretty frustrated when I had a class. I was just like, because I just came from math. She handed it out at the end. I'm like, wow, okay. I studied like the most I ever have with any of her exams, and I was like, so not expecting that. So
Yeah.
Which math is it?
383.
Yeah. Gosh.
So into a great weekend. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Gosh. Do you think there's any way that she like didn't grade something?
Yeah.
That happened with you. That happened
I
with
haven't
me.
looked yet, so I'm gonna see what I got docked for, and but our final assessment is like we have to pick 3 out of like 6 options, so one of them is like making corrections, but I don't think that replaces, like that goes towards your final assessment grade, not like replacing what you get credit back for your exam too, if that makes sense. So yeah. The reality of really messing up when you don't think you're going to. But yeah, I'll have to check after this and see what I did so wrong. But anyways, there's lots of good things ahead to look forward to. So
Yeah.
yes, Thanksgiving will be wonderful.
Yeah.
I am really tired, and yeah, it feels like it's nonstop. Like it's like.
Yeah, this first quarter I've really felt that way. I feel like I've been able to manage it the previous times, but
I haven't even been doing like that many social things really.
Yeah.
You know, which I feel like is really important.
right,
Just
to
for, like,
maintain
mental
happiness
health and-
and
yeah.
totally.
Well, and I feel like we've been hanging out, but we hang out to do
To do
projects.
projects.
Yeah.
It's different.
And so yeah.
Much different.
It's like that is literally like the most social interaction I have had too. Is just doing like work with you and Alejandra and stuff. But yeah, it really does feel like it has been nonstop.
My favorite time of the day, I get off work at 8 and I don't have class till 10. And so I have like an hour to just eat and watch YouTube videos.
Nice.
And then I do homework for an hour, and it's just like best time of the day. Usually actually I fall asleep in the
Well, that's good though that you're setting aside that time for you.
Yesterday I was so tired. I fell asleep without knowing because I was listening to a podcast. I woke up and there was this guy sitting straight across from me, just staring at me.
Oh, that's creepy.
Yeah, and I looked away, and then
I
I was
would have
like,
gotten so freaked out.
yeah.
It's like,
And
yeah,
then
I wake up.
I looked up again, and I was like, was I snoring? I was like, no. And then I had to leave because I felt like he just kept staring at me.
That's weird.
I don't know what I did in my sleep, but
Maybe that tricky stuff, you know?
Yeah.
I know I do that.
like falling.
Twitching, I mean. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if it's been this way for all of you too, and this will be like kind of like just my portion of the check, I guess. But just I feel like I'll be like, okay, I'm doing fine, and I feel like I'm really like plugging away at things, and I just randomly get this wall of tired, like I haven't slept in years, and it's this weird like it just hits me, and then it makes me realize like I haven't been sleeping, but I'm like running on like man getting all these assignments done, and I'm running off of this like I don't know like educational high or something.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Adrenaline.
I feel
like,
that.
fear of failure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been like constant, and so yeah, really in a good headspace for this post-7.
Good. Well, we all get to discuss chapter 5, which will be nice. We can really kind of go off each other. So if we're ready to move into that, we sure can.
After reading, like, just, like, going into this, I wish that I would have read this chapter before I did my case study
That's
interview.
been-
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
I
was
know.
just like I was reading through it all, and I was like, oh yeah, I kind of did that, or like,
No,
oh, that was
yeah.
a really good idea. Like, I wish I would have done that, and like.
Totally.
I saw that you said like
Yeah.
I wish that I might try to do another interview. Like I saw that in
Yeah.
your
If
post, and I
there's
was like,
time
I think I'm gonna try to do one too, just
Yeah.
because.
Yeah.
to
I don't
dive
know.
deeper, because there were
Mhm.
ways, but I remember when I was going into doing my interview with him, I was just kind of like, okay, I'll just kind of generate some questions to kind of get him more holistically, but I had no idea, so
Mhm.
I wish I would have even seen those last
Yeah, these are
3
just,
pages.
Yeah,
I'm like, wow.
yeah, like
that would've
those
helped a
last
lot.
just question
Yeah.
stems. I
Yeah.
was like,
Uh-huh.
wow, like these would have been so much like
Mhm.
easier if I had them, instead of me trying to like think of
Yeah,
things.
exactly.
And like me trying to overthink like
We've
make
never
this,
had an interview.
like make this natural, but
Right,
also
yeah.
like make it like meaningful.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is hard.
Well,
Mhm.
and like doing the language and learning profile thing you did with your students in that
Mhm.
interview, it was to where I was too scared to ask, what is your reason for learning English? And I was too worried to even ask so what level of English language do you think you're at? And
Mhm.
I would see I'm I can't ask this. And then now I realize it's all I did was hurt myself, and I have to go back and ask because it really helps knowing their motivation to do it. And one of our kids, that would have been so helpful to know why he was learning English. And yeah, I don't know. It just really made me realize that all those questions are really important. And even what Shannon was talking with us about yesterday when you were saying how you're why would you ask about pregnancy?
Oh
Kind of
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, because that was one of the questions
Right, but that would be for the parent.
for the
correct?
parents.
Yeah.
And I was like, I feel like that's super personal. Like, how was your pregnancy with your son or daughter?
Mhm.
And I brought it up to Shannon because I was like, why is this on here? And she's just talked about how there's some parents that she's been with that they didn't even know they were pregnant until the baby came out. And so it
Okay.
affects their learning,
Mhm.
Yeah.
if they have learning delays or whatever
Oh,
the case
totally.
may be,
There's so
It's
many things.
So you
that
can think
could
of
affect
that.
I know.
I just thought it was a get to know you question. Break the ice. I'm that's
No.
yeah, but
Yeah.
it's nice to know that each of those questions has a purpose, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess for me, because I felt a lot of those feelings you were explaining, should I ask this? I don't want to feel like I'm just wanting to know absolutely everything about this person. But I feel too, it would be much easier for a teacher that's with them every single day to feel comfortable doing so and not feel so weird about it. I feel that has a lot to do with the way we feel when we're doing it, because it's we only see them once a week and we only have seen them for a month.
And they know that we're leaving.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
also what's so
and
hard.
So it's it's not really personally wow, we really just want to get to know you, even though it may be that way in our hearts, which it probably is. But
Yeah.
still, it's it is so temporary that I feel it's not so genuine as it could be.
Yeah.
And so it feels weird having to do that because we have to do it, But
Yeah.
it's a really weird place to be in, at least for me speaking for
And
myself.
I realized too with mine, and it's really sad, but I know how I don't know how I felt at the time, because Lauren told us right before we had to do the learning and language profile.
Mhm.
She's like, oh yeah, remember we have to do that today. So we were like, what? And so we looked over the questions in the car, and then reading, and it's there are things you do before and during and after an interview, and I just treated it as an assignment we needed to do. And it's just so crazy because all these things could have helped me with educating, and to me I just was so much oh, I gotta get this done kind of thing, and that is not the proper, I don't know, what's headspace to be in when you're giving an interview to a kid.
Yeah. And we did it in a whole group setting,
Oh.
and we let them know ahead of time, just so you know, we're gonna be recruiting you, and it was very much, this is for an assignment type of thing, and we all went around and shared, even us. And it just so happened my case study student wasn't there that day.
Oh no.
And so, yeah, at the time I was this sucks. What am I going to do? But now I'm okay, I can use this next week or this week. Then we go into the class, or next week. Now I have some things that isn't just from a sheet, like one sheet.
Mhm.
Like we pretty much just went down the list because we're like, we don't know what to do. Like we didn't really
Right.
talk about
And
it.
something else that was kind of hard too is like the teacher, like his teacher, when I was in there, I was asking her questions
Mm.
and she didn't know like the answers to them.
Really?
And so like that was kind of also hard. And she just kept being like, like I really don't know. And like she was really humble and like, I don't know. And like, I don't want to tell you and pretend like I do.
Right.
And I was like,
That's
okay.
good.
But then like, she was just like, so you should ask Beth. And I was like, okay. Like, so then like I tried to like fill it out on my own and then fill out with Beth. And then I like went with my case study student to like fill it out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy to think you're with someone for so long, and how are you able to cater to their learning needs if you don't know
No,
basic
yeah.
information about them?
That's
Mhm.
true.
Yeah, I know.
But I also know that like we're planning for such a smaller group, but you know,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
That is true. That would be difficult.
Thinking about the Bix and Calps, like for the first question,
Mhm.
I feel like I'm able to observe like a lot of more nonverbal behaviors, like with his
Mhm.
language. Like like my case study student, he's a newcomer, and so like he uses a lot of descriptions and like pointing and gestures, and like so I feel like that's what I've noticed
cool.
a lot more. And I really like want to focus on, kind of focusing on Calps more and like trying to dig deeper there because I feel like that's somewhere where I'm lacking.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, okay, this is just a cute story real fast. He was reading to me in Spanish and then summarized the book in English to me. And he couldn't think, like, he was like, they're on Windows. And I was like, what's on Windows? And he like tried drawing it, and then he like tried going like this, and then he tried showing me, and I just was not getting it, you guys. And he was like, okay, a bed. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, like this that you sleep with? And I was like, covers? And he's like, yeah, covers on windows. And I was like, curtains? And he goes, curtains.
Oh.
Okay,
Oh,
like
man.
just, like
Yeah.
going through those steps of trying, to communicate, and then like drawing and pointing and stuff like that. Made me think of that.
I
That's
realized
really
like,
great though.
I know, and the fact that like your newcomer student did for you what us teachers are supposed to supply for the newcomers, where he's like drawing you pictures,
Yeah.
he's doing nonverbal.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's so
Yeah.
good.
I know. It's really cool that he went to that
Yeah.
as a way.
He really
So-
describes things when he doesn't know it.
Oh.
Or like I feel like I've said this I think before, like he's very confident in talking, like speaking his L2. Like English, I think like most of the time we get told, it's gonna take them a couple of months or they might go through a mute period, and he really tries.
Mhm.
And he'll like even try to say it in Spanish to other people and be like, what is this in English? Tell her.
Mm. That's
So
cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, our
amazing.
newcomers, they a lot of times don't even want to talk in Spanish, like with each other, with us, like, and so it's really, really hard because I'm like, I know you guys know this, but I want to.
What do you think it is? What do you think?
I mean, I think they're in the mute period, especially the guy.
Yeah.
The girl's a little bit more open
She can
to
do some
sharing.
pranks.
They get away with stuff because we don't know, like you don't want to be like, hey, you, like,
Yeah.
sit down, but
Yeah.
It's okay. My daughters do too.
Right.
Tricksters.
it's
I
so
love
it's
it
so
though.
funny though.
It's
Secretly, I'm like, hey, you go, girl.
They all have such personality.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
they
all
crack
it
me
is.
up.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel like what ones do you guys feel like you were able to observe more?
Definitely feel like anything written
Mm-hmm.
is like
Yeah.
really hard to observe.
Yeah.
The
Same for
only
us.
written stuff that we've really gotten to do is stuff with sentence stems, and which is great, but it's really hard because I want to see like their genuine writing, not just
Mhm.
like copying it from the board and filling one word in or like
Right.
filling a couple words in. So that's something I really want to try to do, but it's hard because like their language levels are all over the place.
Yeah.
It's like, how do we, I mean, I know we can, but we just need to figure out how we can somehow make it so some students can, write at a lower language or writing level.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Some sort of
I'm
differentiation.
definitely dealing with that with my group too, because there's not luckily, but like it's been easier for us because of the majority of our group is like doing really well, or they aren't even like they're like one of our students is like placed there only because his little sister is in the group, but he doesn't need any, so he's like a huge support for all of them. So we're always like trying to think of ways to use him with and like disperse like the ones that have everything kind of down, at least at the level that we're teaching at. And but then there's some that are like they aren't confident, they don't know how to even, like, we have to use sentence frames with them, and even filling them in or like reading them is difficult for them. Like it's like that low of level for a couple of them, and like one of my case study student is one of them. And so I guess for me, oral language is a lot of what I learned from him, because he's still saying a lot of things like not grammatically correct, I guess, and like the way that he words things and like looking for things to work on. But no, I don't really know. I'm just kind of going off of what you said. But yeah, I don't know. It's just really interesting, but difficult to tailor to each individual student.
Yeah.
Like in a small group, I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be tough. I mean, it'll help knowing your whole class and you have your own class, but and being with them every day and make progress that way. But I feel like it's really hard to overcome that challenge when we're only seeing them once a week.
For 2 hours.
For 2 hours.
And a lot of that is not, instruction some of the time.
Right. Because you can't, take them out of school and then teach them for another 2 hours.
Yeah.
It just sounds dreadful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It is tough, like going, like it's not realistic going to these practicums, even though it's an amazing experience, like don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it's definitely tough, like knowing, like comparing it to the reality of what we will get to do. Like there will be pros and cons to it. But
have you guys been like in a classroom at Allen, like to observe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought that was like really beneficial. I don't know if like how you felt about it, but I like went in and I've gone for 2 full days, and I was just like, this was like so great, like just observing all day. I didn't even like really do anything. I like worked with my case study student for a little bit, probably like a total of 2 hours. But like other than that, I feel like that was a really like
you learn so much. Yeah. You like learn about like the tendencies they have that really solidifies like what you're kind of deciding based off of all the forms you have to fill out and everything. Like it provides a lot of evidence for why you're checking off this or that. Like it's really nice for that. So I found, and I also my schedule only allows me to go an hour and 15 minutes before our thing, and then 2 hours on Tuesdays last week and next week kind of thing. Like I just have no time during the week with work and stuff. It's so hard to coordinate, and then the whole hour commute thing is just like, wow. But it's interesting too, comparing like different days. Like this last time that it was Tuesday morning that I went for a couple hours, and he always talks about how he's like so lazy, he doesn't want to do anything. And I had to redo this math assignment with him, and the teacher had like no idea like why he was getting it all wrong. So she was getting all these manipulatives out, and I was like, I think it was multiplying, or I don't remember. Anyways, and then he's like, well, I was just lazy that day. So he like just started filling them all out correctly. And I was just like, oh, like you know this stuff. Why do you want to always be so lazy at school? And he's like, well, I had to be up super late with my parents and helping my brothers and doing laundry till like 10:30. And so I'm really tired. And I'm just like, oh man, like he definitely talks about like being able to play with his PS4 and stuff too. But a lot of his time is spent like, really taking care of his family and stuff. And I'm like, as a 4th grader, like, it just made me realize how privileged I was in the way that I honestly every day after school could go outside and play until dark, and then eat a great dinner and go play some more and then go to bed kind of thing. And like he has so many more responsibilities that can like factor so much of his schooling, and like always just wanting, like when he's at school, he sees it as his time to be lazy and not have to do all these things for his parents and stuff. And so anyways, it's very interesting going and then seeing week to week what it's like. Like there's other weeks where he is really motivated and does stuff, and it's like probably has to do with the fact that he didn't have to do as much at home the night before or after. So
Yeah.
It's so interesting because you know how they kind of stopped giving homework in elementary schools and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, because of some students don't have the same support and things like that.
Right.
I never really thought about how to that, like specifically work in class, how their life outside of school affects that.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy.
Well, and with me too, like I don't know, like hearing that, I'm like, man, that like really sucks. He's gotta do all that kind of stuff. But then like it makes me realize like he has his own little community at home, and he's like, I don't know, like I kind of wish my family had done that with me at an early age. So like,
So you're ready to be a person.
Yeah, so I'm ready. Like, I don't know. It feels like what it is, like kindergarten. A lot of it is giving people jobs and making sure they do it, and like I don't know. It's just crazy to me that kid's got so much more going on than school.
Yeah,
and
so many other responsibilities at such a young age, and
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm like torn because I think yes, it's really important to like learn to have different responsibilities and being able to balance that. But I'm also like a huge advocate for like letting kids be kids for a time period because it like helps a lot with like I don't know. You just want to be able to not feel so overwhelmed at such a young age and then keep that going because like you'll already spend a lot of time.
And I feel like the difference specifically like with you maybe like that and other students is that it's not necessarily teaching responsibility. Like for that case, like he probably had to like, you know, do the laundry because like mom was working or like, something like that. Like there's a difference between teaching responsibility and then like, you know, like having the child help because that family needs that help. Like it's not, that's not, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like in a lot
that's
of
a difference.
Yeah, and like a lot of migrant families and stuff. A lot of times the kids do go out and like help the families and field and stuff. And it's like, to me, I'm like, I can't even imagine going to school like and having to do that because it really feels like you're compartmentalizing your life.
Oh yeah.
But it's like, I don't know. It's just crazy to think that with me, I do have that feeling of like, let kids be kids, but like give them small responsibilities.
Right.
But then at the same time, like that is necessary for that family to survive.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, it's totally something that.
And it's
torn
also,
with.
it's even a cultural thing too. Like I feel like, you know, in America, a lot of Americanized ways, it's like let your kids be kids and like
mom does everything.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, and so I feel like too in those other cultures, like it's already mentioned in that one chapter we read for Shannon way back when, but about the whole like difference in like collective, working together and not the individualization of it all, but. So yeah, that plays a factor too. So I was like, okay, I can't feel too bad because that's probably just like something they all just already do, and that's just expected of families that come from a different culture than us. So I was trying to think along those lines as well. So yeah, I don't even know what stemmed from that, but something fun to talk about.
Yeah. The next point is just like assessing and content area. Something, and it kind of goes off of what you were saying with the different levels and like trying to support them. I mean, I don't know, this is just something we have done, and I don't know if it like, you know, like applies to it, but like we've been really hitting hard on some of the vocabulary, you guys, and it's the same vocabulary every week. Yeah. And I finally told Ruby, and I was like, we need to see if they're getting it. Because like I don't actually truly know if they're getting it when they're like doing word sorts and like because there's like 2 of them who are L3s and then like 1 L1 and then like the levels. Yeah. And so and then like one of the girls wasn't there, she's not there sometimes. And so I was just like I want to give them like a written, like a formal assessment, and we did. And they did great. And like I felt really good about it, even like with like my case study student, he's like, you know, the lower level, the first level. And so like I just had to come over to him and I just read it aloud to him, but he was able to write it. Oh, cool. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, cool. I mean, he still asks like spelling, and he doesn't know his vowels still yet. So like, I'll tell him because, or I just keep saying best guess spelling, and he does not like that term. Oh, no. He's like, Missy, no, like no best guess spelling on this. Okay. But like that was a good way to like have them be able to put what they like could, and then also be like, are you getting the vocab or you're not getting the vocab. So that's like a way that we've assessed them.
That's cool.
During practicum, yeah.
That makes me want to do that. Like,
Yeah.
Just to kind of, because I don't think that we ever really do check-ins in that way, like of like seeing what they know. Yeah. We usually just do it like towards the end, like, okay, now your extra ticket is writing this sentence frame with the content we've learned today, sort of thing. But that's different than like looking like a week later, like, do you remember what you learned last week?
Yeah, because we were working on this vocab for like literally since the first day.
Yeah.
And finally I was like they did, the last time that they did it, they did like a picture sort, but then only like 2 of the people did it. And I was like, I don't know.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
if any of them, like, you
We've
know.
noticed that, we
If-
have some kids
yeah.
that just do all of it. And then
And
it's
I was
like,
like, I don't know. And they did it, some of it was wrong too. So then I was like, okay, like, I just want to see like individual work, and
Yeah.
it was pretty cool. Like,
That
it
is
worked.
cool. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
man, yeah, I didn't even think about doing like some formal assessment because I feel like in all of our readings, I'm like, stay away from the like, written out.
Yeah, it's the
question
first one
answer.
we've done too. And Ruby's
Yeah.
like, do you think they're gonna like do it? Like,
Yeah.
that's everything. And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's funny.
We'll see if they'll do
Most
it.
of the assessment is like, thumbs up, thumbs down,
Yeah.
journal.
We have them like make a poster at the end
Yeah.
of every unit. Yeah.
labeling things,
Mhm.
like,
Yeah. That's the
and
same.
then it's hard because you don't want to like single kids out, to make them feel comfortable when they're in groups, but also you want to know their individual, like where they're at.
Oh, it says you got a low battery.
Oh, thank you. I have my charger. I'm so glad you noticed that.
I just literally like was listening and just like
We just
kinda-
have like a 2-hour
my
conversation with the
eyes.
camera.
Oh, that would be so sad. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I feel like what's really funny is I really like our journals though too. Like I really like that it's informal and my
That's like how
favorite
you
thing.
keep track.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's we kind of have to do a journal entry when we can, but then like something we do too, and that's also because our kids are at such different levels, and then it lets them draw also if they want. But one of my favorite things we did was honestly the wordless book, and then having the recording and transcribing everything that was said. We did a whole class, so we got every kid talking.
I like the way that you guys did yours. Like,
Yeah.
I remember you telling me about it.
Oh, it
I
like
feel like it was beneficial.
it was so nice because
It
like
was so much fun.
and as a teacher, you're standing up there and you're not hearing everything the kids are saying. And then you're like, okay, come on, we need to go on. But then you realize like it was them. Like at one point I caught one of our students like sounding a word out. And then like several times you'd catch kids like trying to say it in a sentence while the teacher's talking. And then the teacher will like turn around and be like, hey guys, come on, let's all look up here, because you don't know what they're saying. And so it was just really interesting. Like I didn't even see it as an assessment, but it really was an assessment for like vocabulary and everything. It was
And like
it was
oral
amazing.
speech, yeah.
For sure.
Do we want to move on to the chapter 5 of those?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
I'll let you see the interview process and peak trust with parents.
Oh yeah. I didn't write a ton for that question in particular,
Yeah.
but I guess even though we already have permission, I'm like, how would it would be weird for us to like get in contact with parents because they probably they know that it's Western students or organizing this, but it's like I don't know. I feel like it would, for how little where they are, like it would be really difficult and like not really seem reasonable to organize a meeting to be like, hey, I'm your child's teacher every Monday night kind of thing, and I'm going to interview them just to kind of get to know them more kind of thing. I don't know. It's just like, but then it's like, I don't know. Would they want to know? I don't know. I guess I'm like curious more so than anything. Would they want to, even if we wrote home like a letter, like or whatever in their home language?
I wonder.
I don't know. I was just like thinking about that.
Everything says that parents want to be included, but I wonder if that's also for after school programs as well. Like, I wonder if we have a similar respect from the parents where they're like, oh, you're teaching our kids, or if they're like, just some Western students having a play with Play-Doh after school or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I was thinking of me as a parent. If a teacher were to call and be like, "Hey, I want to interview you,"
Yeah.
I would feel super intimidated.
Mhm.
And so I can only imagine that if the person interviewing you doesn't speak your own language,
Oh yeah.
like I would be terrified.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I don't know. That was just my initial thoughts on like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wrote something kind of similar. Like I was saying how I was really focused on the fact that I was nervous, like doing an interview like with a child, but then like with a parent, I feel like I would be nervous as well.
Yeah.
But then I was sitting there and then I was like, okay, wait, like this parent is the one being like vulnerable. How do you say that word? Vulnerable. Like they're the ones giving up information about themselves.
Super, super
And so
personal
like
stuff.
how like I feel like as the teacher you need to make sure that that interview process is as comfortable as you can make it, and like, you know, taking those procedures that they talk about of like before, during, after, you know,
Yeah.
just like,
I was just thinking about that.
because like, I don't know, like although maybe you might be nervous, it can be like hella intimidating, like, you know,
Yeah.
for the parent,
Totally.
especially when if it's like not in like L2, like
Yeah.
they're L1, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and the book was talking about even little things like finding a comfortable place to meet them, you know, and just
Right.
like making sure that like all these things you plan ahead so that they're the most comfortable they can be.
Yeah.
Which it was super helpful to read that because I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. Like, you know, maybe they want to do it at their house, maybe they want to do it at school, maybe they want to go to a coffee shop. Like,
Yeah. Well, even like, I guess the way that I read this question, it was like having just like informing them that you would be interviewing their child, and so I was like thinking of ways if it would be necessary to like let them know like, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm a Western student. This is only for my experience to become a teacher one day and better that experience. And but I feel like their initial reaction might be something like if something's wrong, or I don't know. I just like
their kid might be in trouble or something.
Yeah, or like they have, I don't know. I just, I'm worried that if we were to contact them, that they would think like, oh, I've never heard from you before. Like, what's wrong? Why are you needing to do this? And so, yeah. But then it also may be difficult for them to understand the purpose why, because like for us, like we're in this program, we know how it all relates and everything. But for someone that's never, you know, experienced that, it might be hard for them to understand like the purpose in it.
And I think it's important to explain the purpose so then they know how to cater or like how to answer the questions, right?
For sure.
So then they can be going off answering the question, but not how we are expecting them to answer it.
The next one we've kind of talked about.
Yeah, I was gonna say we did just cover that.
Yeah.
I like talked about how I tried to like I said, I tried to make it really natural with him. I like told him I was gonna interview him, you know, but I like tried to word like I wasn't like, okay, question 1, question 2, you know, like it was like I tried to make it like really fluid. And then I also, like I think I told you guys this, I was like, because he loves asking me questions about myself and like about my life, and so I'm like, okay, like if you want to ask me anything, like you should, like just jump in. And he's like, okay, and he did, and so I think that made it way more comfortable too.
Yeah.
It was definitely not formal, but
I know.
I gained a lot of information.
Yeah, I gave him my case study student that option too. I'm like, if you want to, you can even ask me the same question in return if you want to know that sort of thing. And so, in a way, it ended up like it helped practice his oral language because he would like try to recall what I had asked him and then like repeat exactly that. And so there was that even like gave me some information too. I was like, wow, this is interesting. Yeah. But like the way that he like remembered it and then said it was like, again, just grammatically incorrect because that's just something he's holistically having to work on. But yeah, it was kind of cool that way too. So
I think another way you could do it is like answer the question for yourself first and then ask them. So like,
So they can.
so
give an
and it's like an example, yeah.
Yeah.
So like
That's
for
a great
me,
idea.
I
That's
you
awesome.
know, learned English like this or whatever, and then
Yeah.
what about you?
Yeah.
And then, you know, I feel like that'll help them feel more comfortable with you too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's like, oh, you're a person.
Yeah.
Right.
You
Because
didn't
there was.
always know English either.
Yeah. There was the question where like, how do you learn best? And he was like, what? How do I learn best? I'm just always learning. And so then that's where I was like, oh, well, let me give you an example. And he's like, oh, okay. And then provided his answer, but I was like, that would have been nice and helpful to do it for every question.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, there was a lot of rewording for my question.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'd ask it, and then I'd be like, oh, that wasn't a good way to ask it. And so
No.
I'd be like, I was like, what's your favorite subject, is what I said. And he was like, or what? And I was like, and then so I reworded it, and I was like, what's your favorite thing to do in Miss Schultz class? Like, what do you look forward to every day? And then, you know, that was
That's
like
a
a
good
different way to ask
answer.
it.
mhm.
I thought the next part was straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
There's
I just added
Which
I just added like the page numbers to like go
Oh,
look
really?
up before, during, and after. I didn't really know.
Yeah, I feel like I just reworded that whole
Mhm.
section.
Yeah, same.
I didn't find a lot on the during.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of it was like before the interview, and some of it you like carry that on through the interview.
Right.
But I mean, I guess you just do the interview.
Yeah, that's what
for
I
during.
wrote. I wrote that too.
Yeah.
I was like, for
Well, it's
during is
weird,
the interview
though.
questions.
Yeah.
Make them meaningful.
Yeah.
Because it had its own section and it had that
Yeah.
chart. But then the chart I was looking at was like, that's not really the during.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's
right.
like the before and after.
Yeah. I feel like we
Doesn't
might
make
try to
sense.
do it too
Yeah.
in like sped. Like we went
Yeah.
over a lot
Right,
of that interview
yeah.
thing,
that
and
was
so
a lot of review on that.
yeah. And so I was
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, open-ended questions,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a little bird.
Oh, so
You should get bird feeder. A beard feeder.
Boys over here across from us. Also, that's where I used to live. Just an FYI to everyone. They like feed the squirrels.
Really?
Yeah.
Funny.
And the squirrels like come out and wait, and they
That's
like
so
drop
cute.
food. They
That
do
is
it every
adorable.
day, you guys.
That's super cute. I love
Yeah.
that.
We have a squirrel in our backyard that like loves eating berries from our tree, but it's kind of evil. Because my cat stares at it, and so it looks sometimes like.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh! I'm not gonna eat your berries. It's pretty funny.
How much time do we have?
I didn't start, but we started at 12:06. So
Yeah, and it's
like
12:44. So we have.
yeah.
I think we should do the family engagement.
Oh, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if based off of all that, just quickly from what we were just last talking about the process of before, during, and after. I don't know if that would be a good question to ask Joy, like other things to think about for the during
Ooh,
process.
yeah, perfect.
Because
Yeah.
like I feel like we all, I mean, maybe there's other articles that go more in depth. I don't know, but yeah, I guess like what are some things we should be thinking of during the process?
Yeah.
Or like I don't know, like yeah.
I think that's
I don't
a really
know.
good question.
Yeah, no, I think it is too. Many questions.
Yeah, I found it really hard. I was just like, I don't know what to put for this.
Yeah.
Can you reword that? Sorry, or just say it again.
Just what are some things to keep in mind? I don't want to repeat during because I don't know what else to say during the during process.
The during
Process.
section of the interview.
Yeah, sure. She'll get it. And that's pretty much 40 minutes. And yeah, because I said something to do with like making sure the parent and student understand the question and not to assume anything on our behalf. But other than those like couple things of the during process, and like are there other like major points that should be thought of throughout it?
I think something that we kind of came up with ourselves, and I didn't read about it in the book, but like Karen, like you were saying, rewording your questions because everything's going to be different.
And
That's
reading that
something
body
to just,
language.
yeah, like keep in the back of your mind is like, are they understanding how I'm wording this?
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I feel like if you don't know how to reword your question, you don't know the question.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then it's
totally.
like,
Maybe that's like why Joy was like trying to stress too, like to like do this interview on yourself, you know,
Yeah,
like at
yeah.
least look
Yeah.
over it. Because
Yeah.
if you're looking at it and
See,
you're just like, all
Let's
right, let's
go.
do this.
Yeah.
You're gonna be like, yeah, never mind. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting that just about everyone but Alice, I think, is doing the same family engagement
Mm-hmm.
project.
Yeah.
So we're going to see a
Yeah.
lot of
She
that.
was there too, I'm pretty sure.
She was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was
Oh.
at ours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so everyone's doing
Everybody.
Yeah.
Well, oh yeah, she was there too.
She was there because she asked me. She was like, "Where's Beth?"
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know who
I
Beth
saw
is.
her,
I'm like,
yeah.
just follow those girls down the hall. And
Was
still
Celeste
check-
there?
I don't know,
Was
actually.
she there?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think so.
Celeste was there.
She's probably doing something at her student.
Yeah,
teaching.
probably.
Um,
That would be fun to see.
I keep
Yeah.
thinking the only people in our class are the people in 434.
Mhm.
I know,
Like, I
yeah.
can't picture 433 anymore.
Right,
Like,
right.
looking at
Yeah.
everybody.
It's like just the same, yeah.
Mhm.
It's those one.
One.
Just one. Oh, like, it's just less, but yeah, is it? That's funny.
Um, So, do we want to? What do you guys want to talk about? The family engagement project?
yeah, I mean, I think I'm doing, me and Ruby are just like creating a PowerPoint with like the
That's what we're
things
doing.
that,
I don't have a partner because I think that I won't be able to coordinate with someone before it's due,
Yeah.
so I'm
Oh.
just doing it.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with that. I mean,
Yeah.
no, it'll get done.
I feel like at the event I was able to like gain a lot of information.
Yes.
totally.
Like
Yes.
not even just like, you know, like by walking around, we really walked around for about 20 minutes and just people watched.
Yeah.
And like I like feel like we like, you know, just was grasping a lot of information about like the school and like did you guys see like the tables, the community tables?
Yes.
We like went over and we took
I
pictures of
grabbed
each
some-
one.
Yeah, and like I took some
yeah.
pamphlets. I'm just like,
Mhm.
this is amazing.
Yeah.
The amount of resources
Yeah.
available is really
Mhm.
like impressive and
Yeah.
encouraging.
Yeah.
I was with Alejandra and I was just like we passed it first and we
Mhm.
came back this way and it was like the first like, you know, we went around it. When I saw it, I like started tearing up. I'm just like, this is amazing.
Aw.
Because
Yeah.
there was tons of families there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just had like everything.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Like I want to teach at that school now.
I know,
Right.
I
It's
love
so
that school.
Right.
I want to work with the ladies working in the kitchen. They
Oh, really?
were
They gave us free
fantastic.
spaghetti.
They gave us spaghetti, bread, and then that's one thing I want to add in our PowerPoint too. Like we were like just walking by and they're like, take
Yeah.
like
Oh,
take
you're
some
college
spaghetti. And we thought, oh, a plate of spaghetti. They were giving us tubs of
Yeah.
spaghetti.
Like I got
Oh,
two this big and
yeah,
then
they're
we were
huge.
leaving and then they opened the back door and they're like,
they're
like, girls, you forgot the salad, and they gave us like massive bags, unopened bags. I got a huge full size ranch.
And it was
Wow.
crazy, like not living in like Burlington at all, but
Mhm.
I felt like a part of the community.
Yeah.
It was
They
insane.
were so giving. And
It
it was
No, definitely
That's
has
cool.
that
It was
vibe.
amazing.
And I found myself comparing it to my school that I went
Same.
to and everything. I was just like, they sucked, and they still do.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Wait,
our
what school did you go to?
I went to, I don't know if I should say.
Oh,
yeah,
Is
let's
it local?
go.
I don't know if I should say.
That's a good point.
I guess from my perspective, it just was, I don't know, just the way, like, because my brother's still a senior, and, like, because our school is so small, like, even in high school, like, the secretary was so, like, the secretary is, like, the first person a lot of people go in and see, you know, because that's what you have to do. And so I feel like that person has to just be, like,
Really
provide
warm.
that, warm, welcoming feel. And, like, ours so does not. Like, she was so biased towards people and cliquey and snitchy and gossipy. And I'm just like, that's really sad that that's what, like, because she probably hasn't thought about it, but she, like, isn't representing our school well. And, like, I've never seen, like, at least in the high school setting, from what I, like, am remembering, maybe it was different, or is different in elementary and middle school, but it just is not, like, making that connection of families to the school and that bridging over type stuff. Like, that did not exist in my school. And then my brother, for those reasons, switched to Squalcombe from the other school it was at. And like my mom has just like been saying, wow, like they have like such a, and it's in Bellingham, I feel like it's just amazing. All their schools, all their schools in the school district, and they just have such great goals that they want to always be reaching.
Like a school climate.
Yeah.
Not just a classroom climate.
No,
but
yeah,
school
like the whole
community.
collectively, like what
mm-hmm.
do we all believe and support and want to do?
And I feel like Ellen
embody.
gives off that like
Totally.
we're a family, we're all doing
just
this
teachers,
together.
it was, like counselors.
Yeah.
And like a lot of the
Everybody.
teachers, I feel like a lot of the teachers know all the students. Like even like we like in my practicum, we're in an 8th grade classroom, and all of our students are 5th and 6th graders. But like they'll come in every day and like talk to them, and like they like try to get to know them, and like or they already do know them, the like 2 teachers that are in there. And so I really feel like that's the vibe.
Oh, it is, and it's just so great. And I feel like too, like that brings in the, not that there's ever negatives to any culture, but like I feel like that brings in like some of the really cool things of like, I don't know, the Latino culture of like family is everything. And so like because the majority of the school is that, representing that, that's also what really I feel like helps and aids that, is like we are all in this together and doing this together. It's just like I love it so much. So it's cool. Very good.
And then there's like the website review.
Yeah, so mine is the Coloring Colorado. This is just like, I think, guys, I feel like we've given this because this was in SPED.
I know. I heard so much
about
it
from my SPED presentation. Just a very friendly, colorful, and inviting, organized site, and it has like such good information for ELL basics, supporting schools, teaching ELL, families, books, videos, and like so much more. I feel like it was like a one-stop shop is what I said.
Yeah.
Because like you can just go to this website and it's like all organized and like every single tab is like, I don't know, helpful and meaningful.
Yeah.
I also looked at the same website, but I looked at like a specific article that it provided on informally assessing your student or ELL students in particular, obviously. And it was like just talking about like different ways you can create enjoyable learning through the assessment process, I guess, or like enjoyable assessing, I guess, not learning, because this is showing what they know. I just was like, oh, I saw that, and I was like, well, that's on the topic we were talking about, so I thought I would look to see if it had any new information, and I didn't write out the list that it provided, but something you could go check. But a lot of cool resources on there and everything.
For some reason, I did the other one, and I don't know why, but I didn't write down what website it was. Do you have
Teaching channel?
Teaching channel.
Yeah.
I did teaching channel.
Yeah. So it had like a ton of really cool videos, and you could sort through, like grade or topic or whatever. And then, like, that was the main focus, I think. But then I really wanted to click around and see like what other resources they had, and I went to the deep dives tab. And it had so many articles and links, and it even like went back to standards and like all this stuff, and I was just like,
that's awesome.
Why is this not like more clear? Because it was just like a little tab, and it was just like deep dives. That sounds interesting. And then it was like this big thing, and it was really cool.
That's awesome.
I focused on the videos on that one, and it was crazy. Like, there are 91 videos listed on the site, and they're all about like 10 minutes. So that means it's like 910 minutes worth of content. And like,
I saw even more than that.
Yeah, it's insane. It's like just on that first page, there's 91 videos. And then it's
That's
like,
awesome.
it's assessing students, but it also is like the little things in the classroom, like helpful tips, like trouble with transitions was one of them.
That's awesome.
And I don't know, to me, it just seemed like such a cool thing where it's like you watch like a 10-minute video, and then it's like, oh, I can reorganize my classroom and have an example. And I don't know, it just really seems super helpful. And I've noticed a lot of 380, 381 classes, ELL use teaching channel videos because they're so short and to the point.
Great. That's really cool.
Guys, what did people do like in the olden days?
I know.
Like I feel like the internet has like I don't know, really helped like educators so much, you know?
Oh yeah.
And like, what did they do?
Well, I think
I feel
Well,
like
I think we know,
right.
yeah.
Exactly.
But like,
There
where
was-
did they get their ideas? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think there were really. It was just like you all sit
Yeah.
in a row.
We
I'm
talked,
like, yeah,
you listened,
yeah.
you write. Yeah, you're right.
Reminds me of Matilda.
Ah, it reminds me of Little House
She
on
was
the
like,
Prairie.
Picture, and then the new one came in.
Yeah.
And she's like hiding all her posters and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, posters are so important.
Yes, I love that movie.
See, I always think of holes.
Yeah.
Every time I think of holes in the teacher in that. I don't know why. Like,
That's an
What part is there?
because the teacher, it was Kiss and Kate Barley, and her husband,
Like the
Oh,
flashback.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's right.
so cute.
Oh,
Yeah.
Now you know what I'm striving
Yes.
Holes is my inspiration.
That's so funny.
All
I
right.
think we're done for this,
Yeah,
right?
wrapped up for host 7.
7 is a wrap.
Complete. Okay, bye. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Here we go.